In case you were wondering about the current mental state of the President of the United States, Trump took to Truth Social in a late-night rant, writing, "Just in, Democrats show conclusively that Christopher Wray, deranged Jack Smith, Merrick Garland, Lisa Monaco, and other crooked lowlifes from the failed Biden administration signed off on Operation Arctic Frost. They spied on senators and congresswomen, men, and even taped their calls. They cheated and rigged the 2020 presidential election. These radical left lunatics should be prosecuted for their illegal and highly unethical behavior." Wow. Seems like pretty big news, huh? The Biden administration coming together and spying on these members of Congress and senators, taping their calls and cheating and rigging the 2020 election. Only, hang on one sec. Just want to check something here. Who was the president in 2020? Donald Trump. Meaning, Trump is calling for the prosecution of Joe Biden and members of his administration for weaponizing the government before he was actually in the government and while Donald Trump was still president for an election that Trump literally won. But yeah, other than that, totally checks out. Now, there are two issues at play here. One is the mental state of a person, who also happens to be the president of the United States, not understanding that he is currently calling for the prosecution of an administration that was not in office yet because his own administration was in office. I know the whole "what if Joe Biden did this" argument is tired by now, but could you imagine the months-long news cycle if Joe Biden forgot he was president and started calling for Trump to be prosecuted for weaponizing the government against him during his own term? Would Hannity even sleep or just do 24-hour coverage with an IV drip with coffee straight into his veins? And yet, because it's Trump who said it, this comes and goes like a fart in a hurricane. Nothing from those champions of cognition over at Fox or anywhere on right-wing media that spent the previous administration collectively melting down whenever Joe Biden would misplace a modifier. But look, nobody expects the right to bat an eye when Trump spews incoherent bile, and frankly, expecting them to abide by anything even remotely resembling a consistent standard for the left and right is a fool's errand. The bigger issue, though, is the fact that Donald Trump will surface any pretext whatsoever, even one as obviously baseless as claiming that the Biden administration rigged an election when Trump himself was president, as grounds to weaponize his own government against his political enemies. It doesn't need to be well-founded or, frankly, even rational or logical. He just wants vengeance, and so he issues the clarion call, and his little minions in the law enforcement agencies go ahead and do his bidding. And this isn't even the first time. Just weeks ago, Trump did the same thing, writing, "Pam, I have reviewed over 30 statements and posts saying that essentially, same old story as last time, all talk, no action, nothing's being done. What about Comey, Adams, Shifty Schiff, Letitia? They're all guilty as hell, but nothing is going to be done. Then we almost put in a Democrat-supported U.S. attorney in Virginia with a really bad Republican past, a woke rhino who was never going to do his job. That's why two of the worst Dem senators pushed him so hard. He even lied to the media and said he quit and that we had no case. No, I fired him, and there is a great case, and many lawyers and legal pundits say so. Lindsay is a really good lawyer and likes you a lot. We can't delay any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility. They impeached me twice and indicted me 5 times over nothing. Justice must be served now." And as if that edict wasn't bad enough, we also now know that that was supposed to be a private DM from Trump to Pam Bondi, according to reporting from the Wall Street Journal. I asked Mark Elias about the legality of these edicts. Here's what he had to say.
I mean, the legal issues here make my head hurt because even before you get to that, Brian, this is the president of the United States who is supposed to be using secure communications, right? Like, after all, there are foreign actors who are trying to hack into the White House, trying to learn things. And here it appears that he confused a Truth Social post with, I don't know what, a DM using Truth Social?
That's the thing. Like, even if it wasn't a public post on Truth Social, it's a Truth Social DM, which is about as secure as, like, you know, basically shouting it from the street corner.
Correct. Also, the White House is subject to the Presidential Records Act, which means that all communications from the president, like even if the president doodles, like it's all supposed to be captured for history, and that's a federal law. And something tells me that Donald Trump's "Dear Pam" DMs on Truth Social, much like the Signal messages, in all seriousness, that we saw war planning going on among the vice president and Secretary of State and defense secretary. You know, so I don't want to miss the point here that the misuse of communication channels. The willy-nilly nature of how they communicate is a legal issue unto itself before you even get to the rest of it. Now, then you ask your question about, well, what about the fact that the president of the United States seems to be dictating to the attorney general who gets prosecuted? And by the way, if you go back and read what you just read, like, we need to prosecute him because we look bad. Like, I'm sorry, what? We need to prosecute someone because our reputation is suffering? So look, this is not just a norms problem. Legacy media, they portray this as like the breaking of norms or something like that. Like, even the way in which the Wall Street Journal, which kudos to them, by the way, for breaking this story and for publishing this, but like the way they end it is they make it sound like, he is transforming the way that DOJ operates. That's like saying that, like, Jack the Ripper transformed how the bar scene went in London, right? I mean, like the fact is, what Donald Trump is doing is running a lawless administration that is breaking the law, that is systematically undermining what federal law enforcement do, what it means to indict a case, and bring cases forward. He's undermining all of that. I mean, the fact is, James Comey has already indicated through his lawyers that they're going to file a vindictive prosecution case. Okay. What you just read from the Wall Street Journal makes out a really good case for a vindictive prosecution, right? I mean, vindictive prosecution, President of the United States trying to privately tell the Attorney General, we need to go after this guy because it all makes us look bad, and therefore go do it. And so it's not just norms. It's not reordering the Department of Justice. It's not transforming the Department of Justice. It is fundamentally law breaking. And that's why this case is never going to see a jury, right? The fact is, this case is going to get tossed for improper behavior by the president, improper behavior by the attorney general, improper behavior by Lindsay Halligan, who, had her own crazy irregularities in this. And so we need to be very clear in the language we use. And I know you are, and I am, but the legacy media needs to just stop with the throat clearing, stop with the euphemisms, and just call it what it is. It's breaking the law.
And of course, to watch more videos of myself and Mark, or to support my channel more broadly, please subscribe. It is and always will be 100% free. But to Mark's point, James Comey has sought to dismiss the charges on the grounds that they were a vindictive prosecution, and Letitia James will be able to do the same thing. But the point here is not necessarily for Trump to succeed in these court cases. It is to make his enemies' lives a living hell in the meantime. It's to cause them stress and anxiety and expenses and time and resources, all the while turning them into a pariah at the hands of their right-wing supporters, who, by the way, have shown a proclivity to violence in the past. That is the goal for Trump. It is expressly to use the levers of government as a cudgel against the people that he hates. And of course, the rest of his party, a party that spent 4 years doing pearl clutching about the weaponization of government, about Merrick Garland, the weakest attorney general we've ever had, is completely silent now in the face of actual weaponized government. Turns out the GOP was never really against a weaponized DOJ, they just wanted to be able to weaponize it themselves. And Trump is putting on full display the extent to which he is doing exactly that right now. Before you go, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we are now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they are willing to cater to this administration. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a way for me to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link right here on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support me and my team. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.